without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, they never just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, they never just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, people? Welcome back. It's Friday afternoon here in the UK. It's that time of the week. Myself and Matthew get together and we just talk Tottenham and a bit of football as well. So, if you don't know already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't want it, then don't do it. Matt, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Stel. The weeks just seem to fly by. Yeah, good. I think it's silly season with speculation, rumours, ins and outs, and people having meltdowns and bickering and squabbling about who should be sold, who should be signed. Just try and keep you calm and let it play out. So I think it's exactly 7 days. The transfer window officially opens, if that's correct. So let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see.
Very quickly, big up to Immortal Worm, channel member. Thank you so much. Everyone in the chat, thank you to all of you for joining us. I would go for every single one of you, but I really want to get this show up and running today because I'm limited on time this week. Matt, we need to the elephant in the room. We need to quickly speak about it. So, will we or won't we sign Empty Cabinet?
To be honest with you, Star, that's who I thought you was on the phone to just before. I thought you was just trying to thrash out the final bits of the deal. So looking by your face, I think he turned us down at the last minute.
Do you know what? I got so many messages and call about that. And I said to them, yeah, but we did kind of say, oh, look, they've got us here. We've been punked. But that video that went viral, they never mentioned that bit. I'm like, hold on a minute. You've shown the beginning bit where we fell for it, but you didn't show the bit where we kind of clocked on either. I did try and say to people, yeah, but hold on. Matt thought he was talking about Hugo Emitue, whatever his name is, from PSG.
Akita,
but they won't believe it. That's it. They won't. Nobody will believe the story. And do you know what? They're not going to either. So it's one of those where you just got to take that slap across the face and deal with it. It did go viral, though. It did go viral, I have to say.
So exactly that. So two guys I used to work with 5 years ago, I literally haven't spoken to them this year. And I got a WhatsApp message going, Matt, you've gone viral. I thought, what are they going on about? So it was like, put question mark. And then another guy messaged me, and then they sent me, is it Twitter or X or whatever it's called, off that. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah. So then I'll message you going, Stel, what's viral mean? What because I'm a rookie at this whole social media thing. So I'm thinking, is that good? Is that bad? What does that mean? What's viral?
It can be good and bad. Viral just means lots and lots and lots and lots of people are looking at it. It's a popular video. It's something that's trending. It's doing the rounds, so to speak, but with a lot of people. So, but anyway. So as it stands, we don't know if we're signing Empty Cabinet. We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely.
You know, actually, while we're on the subject of Empty Cabinet, this post from what used to be called BT Sports is now called TNT Sports. This post went a little bit viral as well, and it actually links to the Empty Cabinet bit. And it's they put this photo out, and they said Conte and Mourinho, the only managers not to win in their first 51 weeks or something like that of being a manager was at Spurs, both of them. They put this really clever picture of Conte, Mourinho, smiley, happy, lifting silverware for Chelsea and Roma. But then as soon as they go to Spurs, they're standing there, not happy. And then they said, when will Spurs ever win a trophy again? And you know, Matt, it is becoming a heavier and heavier weight on our shoulders, you know. And this is at the core of the whole Levy in, Levy out debate. Is Timo good enough? It all comes down to one thing: silverware. And it's a case of, as a fan, do you really want silverware, or are you full of excuses why we can't? Or do you really want silverware and you're just at the point of now, I'm almost given up with it at this club? I mean, do you believe? Do you realistically see Spurs winning silverware in the near future?
It's a really difficult question, because there's been so much near misses. You know, the semi-finals, the finals, the false dawns, that you wonder, are we cursed? You know, I've sat there and thought, are we jinxed as a football club? I don't know. I understand the process of trying to build a squad that can compete in 1, 2, 3, 4 fronts. I understand that. But unfortunately, me included, sometimes as fans, we don't have the patience to see that through. And that's the fine line between, do we want instant success? Do we want a one-day Ramos who comes in and in 6 months wins the League Cup? but there was nothing really behind that process. And then we start the next season and it's 2 points from 8 games and he's sacked. Or do we want the Martignol, the Pochettino that's a little bit more assured, not so flashy, but we don't get over the line? I'm just not sure.
But it's been 25 years, Matt, though. And we've had one Audi Cup.
So
not Audi Cup, sorry, Carabao Cup.
So I was just going to finish that by saying the major obstacle is Daniel Levy. And I think I said last week or the week before that, in my opinion, if a manager wins trophies at Tottenham, it will be in spite of Levy. I don't think it will be in cooperation with Levy, because I just don't think he's set up. When we get to the pearly gates, I said it before, Stal, I just don't think he's set up when we get really close and we need that one shoe-in player that's going to, the Declan Rice. I just don't think he's got the interest to do it. Appetite, interest. I just don't think. There'll always be a Stambouli. There'll always be that like cheap. Where's that come from signing as opposed to
Matt, let me ask you a question.
We need Declan Rice.
Let me ask you another question and to build on top of that. If you were a business owner and you pay yourself a £3.5 million bonus, you have built a business with a portfolio of assets, i.e. property, stadium, training ground, land, that is now worth billions. It cash flows. You can look to expand even further, like we're doing, hotels, leisure centres, gentrification of Tottenham, at some point maybe an NFL team. And no matter what you do, the business keeps growing, the money keeps coming in, your personal wealth keeps going up, and the customers keep turning up, the customers keep accepting it, and you win nothing. Why would you change it? So if you were Daniel Levy, if you were Joe Lewis, why would you change anything? The fans aren't going to protest in numbers to cause you any issues. As long as you're there or thereabouts for top four, the fans seem pretty content. As long as the football is somewhat attacking, they're accepting of it. Why would you change it? What reason have I, as the owner, got to change anything?
No, it's a really look. Just being the cynic. If you have no appetite to kick on financially, because to compete with Man City, you've got to consistently financially spend good money. And I don't want to put a number on that, but good money. Every transfer window, you have to be in there looking at the players, looking to replenish your squad, looking to improve your squad. And I just don't think Daniel Levy, it's not his thing. It's just not his thing. And it's not criticism of him. It's just not his thing. The challenge we've got as fans now is how much more can we sit and watch this and accept this? Because I just don't think he's going to change. I just can't see him.
This is my question. Why would he change though, Matt? Is my question. What reason has he got to change? Because he's had 25 years and no one's done anything about it of significant impact. He's got the stadium now, which means he can really push on with his next phase of projects. Like, I'm just thinking as a non-Spurs fan, just looking at it from the outside, because my Man United fans say to me, but you lot keep backing it. Like all you fans do nothing about it. I speak to my friends who support Arsenal and my friends who support European clubs. Like, but you as fans, you accept this. Why should he change? And then I look at it from just a normal person, maybe who isn't that involved in football. How would I look at it? And I'd say, well, it's a fully functioning business. It makes good money. The chairman is pretty much, he's got carte blanche to do pretty much what he wants within the laws that he must operate in.
Yeah.
There is no reason for him to change. There is no reason to want to win silverware.
No reason.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So if he's got no reason, why should we expect trophies then?
Because we're fans, we football.
Yeah, wanting and expecting are two different things, though. We want them, but why should we expect them?
Well, okay, expecting is probably the wrong word, but we want to be. I'm old enough still to remember us winning trophies. I remember the early 80s. I remember going to, Wembley frequently to watch Tottenham playing cup finals, even in 1987 when we lost, but we were frequently competing for big honours. That changed, and the dynamics and the focus changed away from trophies. And I think Levy, with a very good PR marketing team, started talking about spreadsheets and started talking about balance sheets and P&Ls, and you'll be amazed how many Tottenham fans now, very early in the conversation, start talking about profit and loss. I don't see. I'll speak to Aston Villa fans; they never talk about it. I speak to other fans; they don't talk about it. Tottenham fans seem to be fascinated with this business model. And the moment we start talking about trophies, and the moment we start talking about why aren't we winning trophies, this is when we get into this conflict. And that's the shame, because I'm hoping all Tottenham fans want the same thing, which is Tottenham to be in with a shout for the major honours every season. And that's my worry and my sadness with Tottenham is we never used to be a fan base like that.
Yeah, but Matt, again, what the fans want and what the owner wants are two different things. So unless the fans force the issue, which we are hell-bent on not doing, we are super accepting, then if you're Daniel Levy, he's actually playing a blinder because he doesn't need to do it. For 25 years, he's done. He's pretty much done what he wanted without any interruption or any disturbance from the customer. Other than that Conte season where it got a little bit toxic, well, fairly toxic. But again, as soon as we sign Ange, yeah, okay, we're good now. We're back. We've got our Tottenham back, and it's been resolved.
So my question to you, Stowe, is what do you think will make Levy change?
The only thing that will make Levy change is a mass revolt of the fan base. Look right now, okay? Look right now. We've got an election coming up in the UK. The Tories are collapsing. Labour are on the up. You've got this Reform Party now, which is causing a disruption to the process as well and gaining some of the votes. So what has caused people to say, right, enough of the Tories? Well, it's because they've been given a power to vote. Vote. And the polls are saying the public are deciding, right? People decide outcomes. And now you've got the Tories saying, right, we're going to fix immigration. No, we're going to fix the schools. It's all too late, mate. Like, people have made up their minds. So the only thing that makes people change, in my view, either it comes from within, because you actually have realised I'm not happy with who I am and what I'm doing. But of course he's happy with who he is. He gets a £3 million bonus. He's happy with what he's been because his family and his friends are set for life financially. They've got what they want. It's down to the fans. Fans are the only ones that can change this. Unless fans in mass numbers, like big numbers, say enough is enough, they start voting. In many ways, it could be by protesting, it could be by boycotting, it could be by not going to the club shop, it could be just a bombardment of social media pounding the club, then that's the only way he'll change. But as a fan base, like you said, Matt, we're not going to do that. It's not going to happen.
I mean, it's a fine line as well, Stowe, because you don't want to play into the hands of being rioters or out of control or toxic fans. You don't. It's a fine line how
But
you
now we're being
protest.
political. But no one's saying to flip cars upside down on the high street and throw petrol bombs at the West Stand, right? I don't know
Yeah,
any fan base in England that has done that in recent times where there's been big protests. I think the worst we've seen was Man United fans gate crashed a match and stopped
with
Liverpool playing Man
these
United.
with the
Yeah,
Super Six.
yeah, but even that wasn't a riot. I think the word riot is what people fear, so they'll throw that into the pit to say, "Oh, but they're going to riot." There's never been a riot. There's no a riot. A riot is a serious situation. It's a very serious situation.
Yeah, I think it's
That's. I agree with you. That's not how to do it. But when you're saying it's dangerous, we don't want to get into that territory. No one's suggesting that. I'm saying unless fans
yeah.
in mass numbers take action, no, I don't see how it changes. But I don't expect fans to do it, Matt. I don't think fans will do it.
But what I'm saying is I'm trying to take a step back and think, why aren't some fans, or why aren't the majority of fans agreeing on those steps? And some of them might be thinking, still, I don't want to be associated. I work for a company. I don't want my name plastered on social media or Sky News if something gets ugly, and my face is. So I'm just trying to take a step back. I'm not saying that's
then boycott games, because no one's going to see you not at a game. Stop buying club merch. No one's going to see you not buying merch. Your name won't be plastered anywhere then. But like I said,
yeah.
Daniel Levy, the stadium sold out every game.
90,000 waiting list. 90,000 waiting list.
The club shop on a match day packed. So again, I go back to why. So if I'm Daniel Levy, my stadium's full, the money's coming in, the club shop's booming, the online shop's booming. Why should I change? Why should I go all out to try and win trophies? For what? The fans are happy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
That's the master stroke that he's pulled still. So with this period of mediocrity, let's be honest, the 90s and the 2000s, he took over the football club with obviously Enoch and Joe Lewis, and he slowly, quietly just amassed this real estate empire, just quietly, and it's almost gone unnoticed, almost. Then we had lockdown, then we had the stadium being completed, and it's almost gone unnoticed, and now it's a machine. It's like an artificial intelligence. Tottenham Hotspur is a machine, so he's almost.
We say Spurs are AI.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like it's been built now. It runs itself. It's an artificial intelligence like entity. It runs itself.
Instead of Enoch, we should call him Einik. Einik.
Yeah, honestly, it is an artificial intelligence machine. It is. It's a monstrosity now. So it cannot, going back to like. It's going back to the old days. If somebody did try and take over, I think Tottenham would probably, a voice would appear and say, not for us, thanks. It's a machine still. So
do you know what? Hold on. Just Matt, bringing it back to the initial question. Do you see us winning a trophy in the near future? Like, do you truly believe deep down, I can see Spurs lifting that FA Cup, lifting the league title, lifting the Europa Cup? Can you honestly see that happening? And I'm talking about the next 2-3 years, short term.
I think things would have to fall in our favour for a league or FA Cup. And when I say falling out, we would have to have kind fixtures in the League Cup and FA Cup, and then maybe get a top 6 team in the semi-final, and their focus is on something else, and we get through. But I think now the new rules with the teams in Europe, they can't face each other in the first early rounds. I think that's now been approved, so we can't face Man City or Arsenal in the League Cup, in the Carabao Cup, in round 3 or round 4. I think we're all we're going to a different pot. So if we are fortunate with the fixtures, even though we've been beat by Colchester and Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest in recent years, if we do pay a little bit more respect to those fixtures early on, and we get lucky with injuries, maybe a league or FA Cup, but the league, I think we've got a lot of work to do.
I personally don't think we're winning anything again under this owner. That's my opinion, unless we get lucky. So, like you said, we draw Doncaster in the Carabao Cup, then we draw Barnsley, then we get a draw against Blackpool, and then in the semi-finals, by chance, we get the easiest draw. We get, let's say, a Southampton at White Hart Lane, a Luton at Southampton, and then in a final, it's anyone's. But I don't see it, personally speaking, because I just look at the competition and how good they are now, and I look at the way they're operating and the way they are showing, all energy on the football, whereas we're distracted. We've got the hotel, we've got the NFL, we've got the luxury apartments being built, we've got a new manager, we're still signing players like Timo, even if he's a backup squad player. I don't care what term you give it. The fact that we have said, we see this as part of a winning plan. I don't know.
23 minutes, though. 23 minutes. Timo Werner's been mentioned. I was working out how long before Timo Werner got mentioned.
That's not too bad. It wasn't the first 10, right? It wasn't the first 10. Yeah. Let's move it on. So, 4 players have been, not let go. Their contracts have ended. It was in the news. Japhet Tanganga, Ryan Sessegnon, Eric Dyer, and Perisic are all gone. Some say it's the beginning of a clear out. Others say, but their contracts have ended. And they haven't even played for Spurs anyway for the last year, other than Dyer, who was shipped out in January anyway. So is it really that much of a change? An interesting stat on Sessegnon, actually, is by 19, he'd played 109 games. By 24, he'd played 173. That is shocking. And do you know what? In some ways, Matt, as much as I never thought we should have signed him. When I spoke to the scouts, they said to me, we wanted him 10 years ago. That they were against it, the academy recruitment guys. And I'm not surprised it hasn't worked out. I never thought this was a good signing. I always said it was, for me, a waste of money. But I feel really sorry for him. A young lad coming to a big club and just injuries every year. I mean, like, you got to give, you have to be sympathetic to him, because in reality, he never had a real proper crack at it as a healthy, fit player. And in some ways, it's a bit sad, but Matt, he had to go, right? There's no way we could have renewed that contract. Did you agree with those players that have gone?
Look, I mean, I remember watching him play for Fulham, and I thought this kid could be anything. He was getting the ball and he was running 30, 40 yards at 16, 17 and just riding tackles. And I thought, oh my Lord, who is this kid? And I have to confess, though, when we signed him, I was ecstatic. I thought he was the next Danny Rose. I thought we've got ourselves a guy that's 5'11", 6 foot, quick. And I just think he was just, too much football, too young. And I think he's a confidence player. And you could see the more the injuries started to blight him, the more he played within himself. And he always seemed to me, he played at Spurs in second gear. I think in his mind, he's thinking, if I move that gear stick into third gear, my hamstring's going to pop here. So he just always played with the handbrake on. And obviously, once the fans get on him, that's a difficult situation to get out of. So, you know, he goes with more blessings. He'd have to go down as a bad signing, but I just hope for him. He's 24 years of age. I just hope for him he can just resurrect his career somewhere and play football, because that's all he wants to do. He just wants to play football, and injuries have absolutely blighted him.
Yeah, injuries have hampered him big time. I hope whatever club he finds that maybe his injuries do improve and he's actually gets a nice run of games where he is fit and healthy. Because look, I might dislike a player. I might not think I want him at Tottenham, and in some cases I will say you're crap, but I don't ever want bad upon a player. And injuries is, yeah, it's not great. The only time I wish bad on a player is if they're an Arsenal or Chelsea player and they've given us crap. Like, do you remember when Theo Walcott got stretched off injured and he did that to the fans, to the Spurs fans? Yeah, look, in that case, I hope Walcott is out for a very long time, you know. But they're very they're very rare moments. The other bit of news regarding a player that is on his way out, but not out, just out, is Veliz. Apparently, they want to loan him out to another Premier League club. Now, Matt, this says to me, first of all, why have we signed him? Secondly, if he does go to another Premier League club because that's what the club wants, do you see that as a sign of, actually, we do have maybe, not yes, but maybe plans for Veliz at a future date, which is why we want him to get Premier League experience and develop in a Premier League club, as opposed to when we send out academy players to lower league teams like Dane Scarlett, I think, is at Plymouth Argyle. It's not quite the Premier League, is it? But it's more about getting minutes there, I guess. But do you think the fact that they want him to go to a Premier League club is because they've actually got plans for him to be at Spurs one day in the future? Or is it just, we don't know what we're doing, we've signed another player, what was the point?
For me, what's he? He's 19 years of age. He's got the raw basics to play in the Premier League. He's 6'2". He's aggressive. He takes up good positions. Just in the brief snippets I've seen him, I think he played against Brighton and he come on in another game. So he's got the raw material. I think what he needs to do is he needs to play in England, whether it be Premier League or Championship, and get used to the pace and the rigors and the intensity of English football. So I've got no problem with that loan. But again, this all goes back to the above. If we go and get a number 9, a Tony, or whoever he is, Jimenez, and he leads the line and he's undroppable, I'll ask you about Veliz in October and you won't even care. So for me, this all pings or hinges on what Tottenham do in this transfer window. They go and get a ready-made number 9 and they've still got a Richarlison and Son sprinkled around. Let Veliz go out on loan for a year. Saliba went out on loan for 3 seasons at Arsenal and the fan base was in meltdown. They were playing Callum Chambers. They were playing the kid that's now gone to Crystal Palace on loan. Who's the centre half? Ahead of Saliba. Who's the English centre half that Arsenal were playing?
Oh, yeah. I know the one. I know. You're talking about. Empty Cabernet.
Yeah. I'm not very good with names, but that guy, yeah, they were playing ahead of Saliba. So all of a sudden, Saliba comes back and it's a masterstroke. Arteta's a genius. He was out on loan for 3 seasons. So this hinges still on if Tottenham go and get a proper, ready-made number 9 to lead the line for the first game of the season. Rob Holding, that's the guy. There's the fella. You know, so I've got no problem with these Ashley Phillips and Veliz signings, but do not take your eye off players that can play in this Tottenham team come August. That's what we need.
I guess the issue here is that our record of bringing young players to the club, loaning them out, doesn't really bear any fruits for us, because when's the last time a young player came to Spurs, went out on loan for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and came back and he's ready now? I can't think of many, maybe one at best. The best example is Harry Kane. He went on loan, came back, went on loan, came back, and then eventually
Danny Rose.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But in recent times, in recent times, you can't really think of any. So I think that's kind of where the question lies. But I personally think that they're gonna keep Veliz. I think they want to keep him. My personal opinion.
Look, all the people that I speak to, from the Argentinian connections that I have, say Veliz is the real deal. He just needs minutes. He's highly thought of in Argentina. So why not? Look, Stoke, we've got to remember that we've gone through a period of having gold. Harry Kane was gold. Rain or shine, no matter what the formation, home or away, he guaranteed you 40 goals and assists every season. You also had Son alongside him, who averaged 25 goals and assists every season. So we've now got to try somehow to replace that. Ideally, what should have happened is 2 years before Kane is sold, players like Veliz should have been signed. So by the time Kane goes, they're ready to come in.
But the problem, now this is the problem. This is the problem with the club. The constant turnover of managers stops us from doing that, because we don't know if the next manager is going to be able to keep hold of certain players, and we don't know what style of football the next manager is going to play. And this has been a massive issue at Spurs. Matt, I don't know if I've ever told you this. I've mentioned it on shows that I've done on the channel. The academy, I think it's now changing with Simon Davies, but up until Simon Davies came, it might still be the same. I don't know. The club make a clear separation between academy and first team. There's not this direct connection between them. They keep it two separate entities. The academy decides what's best for the academy. The first team decides what's best for the first team. There's no, you must do this in the academy to help the first team, or the first team must do this for the academy. That hasn't been the case. And the only reason is because the board have recognized, on average, they change a manager every 18 months. So if the academy was set up for the manager, then 18 months later, the manager's left. Now everything the academy's been set up for has gone out the window, because the next manager might want something completely different. That is very telling of our board. That's very, exposes how dysfunctional the whole thing has been. I do believe now that's changed with Simon Davies. I do believe now the academy's set up to develop and play to suit the first team, and whoever the manager is after Ange, it'll be a continuity of that style of football. So I do think that has changed, but
I think that wasn't
the case before.
We're buying on top of developing them from 8, 9, 10 years of age. I think we're also now doing what Chelsea have done for the last 20 years and buying some of the best 15, 16, 17-year-olds to supplement what's coming within.
That's thanks to Paratici, because he managed to convince the owners to break the wage structure to be able, because one thing Chelsea always used to do was they used to hoard players because they'd pay them more. They'd offer them more. So that is something Spurs have changed, but we'll only know if that works in the future. We'll have to wait and see, because at the moment they've been signed, but they're not in the first team, and that's when we'll know if they get to the first team. Another player, Matt, Emerson Royal. Apparently, AC Milan have agreed to buy him. Spurs have agreed to sell him, but we're stuck on price. Surprise. Spurs want maximum money, as any business should do. You should always try to get the most you can. But AC Milan not prepared to pay the money that we're asking for. We've been here before, Matt. Spurs trying to squeeze blood out of a stone, and the opposing club not interested.
Yeah, look, I think the thesis I get, the ideal business model is sell your players for the maximum amount of money and buy players for the least amount of money. Yeah, that's that. I get that. But the reality is we've got a rap sheet as long as your arm of the time, the amount of players we've missed out on for £1 million, £2 million, £3 million, and they've gone on to other clubs and had stellar careers. So you would like to think that there's enough football people in those meetings to say, you know, in order to change, we have to change. So surely the Grealishes and the Agueros and the Sadio Manes and so on that we've missed out on for £1 million, we have to change. So what's the difference between 17 million and 21 million in the grand scheme of it? What's the difference? You know, let's get the 17 million and move on.
We'll have to see if Milan are prepared to even pay that. The thing is, how anyone can value him above £15 million is beyond me. But even then, you know, if Milan are serious, do you know, I'm even surprised AC Milan want him. He's not very good.
Barcelona signed him still. How on earth do Barcelona sit in the stand and say, we're signing Emerson Royal? How does that happen?
Yeah, but they also got rid of him.
No, granted.
Got rid of him.
And made a profit, by the way. And made a profit.
Oh, yeah.
But
they pulled their pants down on that one, that's for sure.
How on earth do Barcelona sit anywhere and say, I'm going to sign Emerson Royal? How do you do that?
I don't know. Let's move off that one because we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with it. A player that Spurs were linked to, Tosin Adebayor, signed for Chelsea, free transfer. Now, this is a player we were linked with. A lot of Spurs fans said we're going to get him, we're going to get Lloyd Kelly, blah 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 blah. Again, everyone was wrong as always. That's why I keep saying to people, don't listen to ITK. Most of what journalists put out there is rubbish. Until you see them actually sign, it's just conversation. And that's all it is. This is conversation. But this is fact now because he's actually signed for them. Are you gutted by this, Matt? Would you have had him at Spurs? Personally, I'm glad he's gone Chelsea and not Tottenham. I don't want him at Spurs.
So that's an interesting question because we've had this chat, haven't we, about Tosin and Lloyd Kelly. And I think one thing about you, Stel, you're never backwards in coming forward. And you made it abundantly clear. You made it abundantly clear that you didn't want any part of Tosin or Lloyd Kelly. I think prior to Dragerson, we needed another centre half, and the theory is that he was either going to be free or very cheap in January. So maybe in January, but would I swap him for Dragerson? No. So yeah, I've got no problems with him going to Chelsea. I'm surprised at Chelsea, to be honest with you. I'm really surprised that they're looking at or they've signed him. I don't see that.
They're a mess. They've got no money. He's free.
And no, but they do have money, but they just can't spend it.
So who can you get for free?
Is he better than who's the homegrown? I'm terrible with names. Who's the homegrown kid who scored the header against us? He scored the good header. The first header.
I'm terrible with names
in the chat.
Well. I know who you're talking about. It was the first goal. It was the header.
First header. Great header. Is he Chalobah? There you go. Chalobah. Is he better than Chalobah?
Maybe he's more experienced because of age.
For me, I think you're tomatoes. I just don't see the
maybe they've got him in, one because he's free, and two the wages will be low, and 3, they've probably got plans to get rid of a couple of their players to sell centre backs.
Yeah,
because they've got
yeah.
they've got 8 centre backs on the books from 7 or 8. So they're probably looking to get rid of a couple or loan some out.
For me, I don't see. Yes, they've got a PSR. Even though I don't like talking about the financial side of it, they've got challenges that they need to, recoup a certain amount of money before June.
There you go, Matt. Silva's leaving Chelsea according to BSD29. So
yeah, he's left already. But I don't know. I just, if I was Chelsea, I'd be thinking that's a bit underwhelming personally. If I was Chelsea, a Chelsea fan, the brief bits I've seen on Chalobah, he looks okay. He looks all right.
Frankfurt Gunners says they're selling Chalobah because of profit reasons. So
yeah, I said earlier, so it might be for the PSR. They've got to Conor Gallagher are the 2 that get frequently mentioned as players that could be sold to the homegrown.
Are you gutted that we never got him, Matt? Because I'm not.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I'd rather Dragerson every day of the week.
Another player. There's so many. Eze. Now, Tottenham Hotspur are one of the clubs keen, not monitoring, not interested, not linked, but keen. It's a different word with every player that is associated to Spurs maybe signing them, right? Spurs are one of many clubs keen on signing Eze. The player has a clause in his contract worth 60 million plus add-ons in the worth region of 8 million. So this is looking like a 70 million pound deal in total. Eze has genuine interest from a number of Premier League sides, with Spurs among the clubs keen. That word again. I think, Matt, if we get into a bidding war with other Premier League clubs, I don't know if we're going to break the bank to beat them. Again, it depends who those clubs are, because they might not be able to put the money down either. But there's definitely a lot of interest on him and Elise. No surprise, they were 2 very good players last season in the Premier League. I've had this feeling for a while that I don't think we'll get Eze. I don't know. There's no evidence to back up what I think, and there's no intel that I've got from inside the club to know this. But I've just got this feeling that I can see either him or Elise staying at Palace this season. I think Glasner might persuade them, give me 1 more year, because they had a phenomenal end to their season, Palace. And I think maybe they might stay, or if they go, one of them goes. So if Elise goes, I think Eze stays. If Elise stays, I think Eze will go. And if Eze does go, I don't know, if Aston Villa come in, if you're Eze, you're going to go to Villa or Spurs, you probably go to Aston Villa.
I think, obviously, Elise is French born, I believe. So I think he's not got so many ties to whether it's London, Crystal Palace or whatever. Eze is definitely a London boy, and the little snippets I've been reading suggest that he'd ideally like to stay in London. So I would imagine that we've been having this conversation with him and his people for quite a while. And if you look at the end of the game between Tottenham and Crystal Palace, he was very pally with not only Maddison, but a couple of the coaches. They were doing his hand and talking. He just seemed to be...
Yeah, but they will do that. They will do that. Everyone
No, I know, but it looked specifically like Eze was talking to quite a few people within the Tottenham group. And then there's a story that his agent and so forth, when they guess at Tottenham for another game, didn't we kind of...
Right, now that's interesting, because that game, Jimenez was at that game as well, right? Now, what's interesting about that game is we played against Arsenal. So are they there because they're interested in Spurs, or are they there because actually they're interested in Arsenal?
That'd be another Emmanuel Petit, wouldn't it? That'd be another... So we're
another Willian. Another Willian.
Well, did you hear Petit? We paid for Petit's hotel and taxi, and he got the taxi to Arsenal and signed for Arsenal, and Tottenham paid for it. So that would be another one of those. I would like to think, still, when a player, his girlfriend and his family are being wined and dined at the Tottenham Stadium, you would like to think that there's some sort of a concrete conversation that is happening. You would like to think, surely.
I think Spurs have spoken to Eze. I definitely think we've spoken to Eze. It's whether a deal can be struck and we're not having to go up against another club. Like I said to you, if I was Eze and Aston Villa came in, I'm thinking they're in the Champions League. They're currently better than Spurs. Their manager's proven. It's a difficult one to say no to. The only reason he would stay at Spurs is because we give him higher wages. And like you said, it's London. It's the kind of stadium I want to play in, week out. That would be more along the lines of why he would join us. At the same time, we've just signed Timo. So he's going to need to be given some kind of assurances of game time.
Yeah, look, I think sometimes though you got to look at the person, and he seems to be a very much a London boy. You know, they do these Soccer Saturday interviews, and he seems to be very much around the London area, and he does a lot of work in the community and stuff like that. So ultimately, Tottenham have to match the asking price. Let's get that right, and that's the concern. But I would like to think if it's a shootout between Tottenham and Aston Villa for Eze, and the numbers are roughly the same, I would like to think that he would potentially come to Spurs over Aston Villa, just because of the London thing. Elise is not English, you know. He's born in France. I don't think I don't think it has the same importance to him. So whether that be Man United or whoever, Man City or Chelsea, I don't think he's got the same like attachment to London. But let's see. Look, ultimately, just to that question, John, I didn't mean Eze's partner. I meant Jimenez and his girlfriend. They were also, if you do look at it on YouTube, Jimenez is with his girlfriend, being wined and dined at Tottenham Stadium. So that's what I meant. I didn't mean Eze. I meant Jimenez. So let's see who. This is it. It's silly season. We're speculating. We're hypothetically speaking. We won't know, but I would like to think we're in with a good shout for Eze.
Yeah, no, we are in with a shout. I just don't get the vibe he's going to end up at Spurs. I'd love him at Spurs because I think he's better than what we've got. Do you know the funny thing with Eze? I don't think he's wow. I don't think Eze's wow. What a player.
Don't you?
No.
Really?
No, I don't. Yeah.
I like him. I do still.
I think Elise's better. I think Elise's the one that, to me, I would. If you said to me Elise, Eze, I'd take Elise. But with Eze, why I like him is because he's better than what we've got, but not one of those, oh, Timo's better than Brian Gill, because they're both crap. It's just one is very crap, the other one's just crap. Whereas with Elise, he's a big upgrade on what we've got, in my view. So that's why I like him. But I don't think he's wow. He's not like Jurgen Klinsmann when we signed him. That kind of wow, we've got Jurgen Klinsmann. It's not like when we signed Van der Vaart. We've signed Van der Vaart. Get out of here. It's not that kind of a signing for me. But he's good. And I want him because that's the kind of player I want at the club. Minimum level. That's the level I want minimum at the club. So I'm all for Eze. If we sign him, I'm on board. But I wouldn't call it a marquee signing like some are trying to make him out to be. That's OTT.
The only reason I think with Eze, didn't Chelsea agree a fee with Crystal Palace last season? Have I got that right? If anyone in the chat, I'm sure.
Say that again, Matt.
Didn't Chelsea agree a fee with Crystal Palace? the start of last season, and then he said, and then he agreed. He took an extension or something like that. I'm sure Chelsea.
I don't know.
Right. If anybody knows in the chat, I'm pretty sure Chelsea came up with the money for Elise, and then he signed an extension to his contract. So I don't know. I just get the feeling Eze's more gettable than Elise.
Because Elise is better. I think there's a lot of conversation saying that Elise is going to end up at Man United. Actually, a lot of people are saying they can see that deal happening. But again, Man United are in the mud. Mind you, saying that they're in Europe, aren't they? They won the. I keep forgetting they're back in Europe because they won the FA Cup. I keep forgetting that. Matt, apparently Elise was the deal.
Elise was the what?
The deal you mentioned, the pre-agreement with Chelsea. Apparently that was with Elise, not Eze.
Yeah, I thought that's what I said. Didn't Chelsea agree a fee with Crystal Palace for Elise, and then he signed an extension to his contract? I think that's what I said. I like both of them. But I just think I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the money Tottenham are going to pay is it 60 million a buyout clause?
They're saying 60 million, 8 million add-ons, so the total package will be just under 70 million pounds.
Wow, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Oh, if you want to be at the big table, you got to spend the big money, no?
Yeah.
Matt, we spent 65 million on the pigeon. So, that was a complete waste of money. Let's be honest about it. He's nowhere near the level we want.
How much was Ndombele?
We need to stop mentioning his name. He's still. Do you know what? Ndombele's still at Spurs. How's he still at Spurs? I can't believe it.
£200,000 a week or something like that. £190,000 a week, something ridiculous.
And Ndombele's on 250 grand a week. They got to get rid of him. We must get Ndombele off our books once and for all this summer. We must.
When you put it like that, go and get Eze. If you put it like that, go and get Eze. But
is Eze worth, Matt? Is Eze worth 70 million pounds? Is that really
worth? Is anyone worth 70 million today?
Well, yeah. If we went and signed, Ollie Watkins, goals, assists, proven Premier League talent, striker. That's a rare commodity nowadays. You'd say an Ollie Watkins is worth 70 million, probably more. But is Eze worth that? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
What I like about Eze is he can play multiple positions. That's what I like about
he's not rigid. You're right. He's not rigid like that.
Yeah. So you're buying a player that can potentially play wide, left or right. He can play in that attacking midfield position. He's physically, I like how he rides tackles, he doesn't mind the physical contact. Yeah.
Eze is a dribbler. Eze is a dribbler. And we don't have that in the team. We don't have many players.
He gets you off your seat, Stel. He gets you off your seat. He's very good in a 1v1.
Why it's so important to have dribblers is because in most goal scoring scenarios, not all but most, you're creating an overload where you outnumber the opposition in a given situation. So in an attacking phase, you're looking at, right, if there's 3 of their defenders, can we get 5 of our attackers against them? Can we get a 4v3 or a 5v3? Can we create that? And when someone's a dribbler, as soon as they take on a man, you've now nullified a player. So you're out the game. If you beat another man, that's 2 out the game. Now you've got an overload. Dribblers create overloads. That's why, for me, they're so important. The other way you create an overload is quick passing. Let's pass through them. and wipe out players with passing. That's fine. But then you've got situations where teams low block or where teams are actually pretty good at shutting down the space. That's when you need a dribbler. Dribblers unlock doors. This is why Jack Grealish was so effective at Aston Villa. He was just an excellent dribbler. That's why Heung-min Son in his early days at Spurs was brilliant. He was a dribbler. That's why Paul Gascoigne was the best player we've probably seen at Spurs in 40 odd years, because he was an unbelievable dribbler. Dribblers they're a dying art, and Eze can dribble. Eze's a very good dribbler.
I think for me, I think the fact that he can play multiple positions, he ticks a lot of boxes. Whether it's 60, 70 million, I don't know. Question: Eze or Morgan Gibbs-White?
Eze, all day long.
Same.
I think Morgan Gibbs-White's been overhyped. I think he's been overhyped. You watch Palace play and you see Eze has an impact. Like, even when they came to White Hart Lane, that free kick he hit was top. That free kick he hit, I was right next to it. It was top. You think you have proper impact. Don't get me wrong. Morgan Gibbs-White does have impact. But with Eze, I see more impact. I see more impactful moments. And don't forget, he was at a mess of a club. He was at a mess of a club all season long. It wasn't until Glasner, who's a top coach, came in, gave them structure, got them organised, began to develop a way of playing which was pragmatic but effective in attack. Then you saw Elise and Eze really push through. So, and they were injured as well for a part of that time. So, yeah, for me, well, who would you pick, Matt?
Yeah, I'd have Eze. I like Gibbs-White as well. I think Gibbs-White is a good player, but I would rather Eze. For me personally, of the three, my concerns with Elise with his injuries. He picks up a lot of hamstring injuries. So
he'll fit in at Spurs. He'll fit in at Spurs. We'll have a player that gets injured at Spurs.
Yeah, I think he done his hamstring 3 times this season just finished. That's my only caveat is for the amount of money that he's going to cost. Him and Neto, they seem to pick up a lot of hamstring injuries. So, yeah, for me, I would go. Injuries. Pardon?
Neto gets a lot of injuries.
Neto's another one. Great talent, but picks up a lot of injuries. So, of that ilk, I would probably just go with Eze. He plays more matches. He can play left. He can play right. He can play in that attacking midfield position, the homegrown quota, and he's got something that we don't have. He's good in tight spaces. With the amount of possession that we have, 62% home and away, we lead locksmiths, and he's a locksmith.
Very quickly, Marlon. At the end of the show, we do all the questions, so I'll bring up your super chat at the end, okay? I haven't ignored it. There's one last subject I want to talk about, Matt, very quickly, and then we'll do the questions from the fans who have put them up on social media. This is causing a massive storm of controversy. Man City are suing the Premier League. Now, this could completely change football because if they win, then the Premier League are in violation of UK law. If they lose, I think City are done for. Now, I'll give you my quick take on it, and I want to hear what you say. So for me, I hate when anyone or any organisation, anybody's accused of things and people say, right, you're guilty, you're guilty. I find that a very uneducated approach. I actually think you shouldn't speak. And I hope that doesn't offend anyone. But the reality is this. Until proven guilty, you are innocent. That is the law of our land and of many other lands. You've got to prove them guilty, right? Accusations, charges, yeah. That gives us reason to suspect ill play. So we all suspect Man City of ill play because they've been charged. And it's a lot of charges. And They took they were charged by UEFA for a fee for a couple of years ago. They got out of that one, but at the same time, they could be being bullied. They could be all the other clubs are fed up with them. Right, let's find a way to get rid of them. You don't know. People do that. Oh, listen, I've been on the back end of that recently, right? So until they're proven guilty, for me, Matt, I'm not pointing the finger at them over anything. At the same time, them suing the Premier League, in my opinion, is their lawyers advising them, hey, we've got grounds to mud the waters. And these muddy waters can discredit the people that are charging you. So if we win this, what do we make the people that are charging you look like? Like they're liars, like they don't know what they're doing. We actually make the charges against you, even if they're real, we discredit the charges because we're going to discredit the people that have charged you. So I feel, Matt, that this is legal advice to mud the waters. But at the same time, lawyers can't just go and sue someone without grounds of proof. So they're saying, from what I've understood, is that the rules that the Premier League enforce are not legal because they're not in compliance with UK laws. So the UK laws aren't the same. They don't comply with Premier League laws. At the same time, when clubs affiliate with associations like the FA, FIFA, UEFA, when they go to AGMs and they sanction all the new rules, they agree to the rules of the association that they are accepting to be a part of. So when Man City said, yeah, we'll be in the Premier League this season, they agreed to those rules that the Premier League enforce. So on the one hand, you're saying, we've been agreeing to your rules every year, but now we think they're illegal. Hold on a minute. Really? So this is why I'm saying I think they're muddying the waters. I think they're trying to just pour toxic waste into the credibility of the Premier League. But they might actually have grounds to do it. But why now? So I think this just gets even more muddy, even more dirty, even more messy. And I think that's what they're trying to do, Matt. So, but again, until proven guilty, the Premier League are innocent and so Man City. What do you make of it, Matt? And are we ever going to get an outcome for this? Because it just looks like it's just layer upon layer upon layer of he said this, she said that, sue them, charge them, accuse them, fine, you know.
It's unprecedented, and I can understand why some people say that they're falling out of love with football, because when this is dominating football, you know, the conversations and transfer windows and that's what people are now focusing on. That's the sad part of where we're going as a football community, when you know, I'll sue you, no, I'll sue you, and I'll sue you because you're suing me, and it just getting into this crazy.
You have to have reasons to sue. You have to have there must be a law that allows you to sue. Otherwise, you can't sue someone. You can't just say, right, Matt, I'm going to sue you because you spelt my name incorrectly in a WhatsApp chat. Well, there's no law for that.
No, listen, I totally agree. But what I'm saying is the fact that it's got to this stage, you know, the fact we've got to June and Man City have said, woke up one day and said, do you know what? We're not going to sue. We're not going to sue. I don't understand where we're going as a football world. You know, that this is now going to take up so much financial costs, so much red tape, so much litigation. It's a minefield, and I don't think there'll be any winners. I don't think anybody comes out of this well. Man City or the Premier League, the FA, UEFA, whoever. I don't think anybody comes out of this smelling the roses, because there's going to be that much mud thrown at each other. Some of it will stick, and we'll be kind of as the jury, as just sports people, they did this. Allegedly they done that. Allegedly this offshore account got paid to this person, and it's just going to end up an absolute. I was going to swear, but a mess. So yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the direction of travel. Let's just say Man City are innocent. Let's just imagine Man City are innocent, right? Where does that leave the Premier League?
I was on a show yesterday on the Pitch podcast with Ashmatic and Mari and Connor, and Ash brought up a good point that who's to say Man City don't leave the league and start their own, and they get other clubs on board. Which I don't know if that's possible, by the way, because I know that European Super League tried to do that. And are there now rules in place to stop that? Or
and they all signed, all Premier League clubs signed a document to say that they won't.
Do you know what though, Matt? The problem is, right? As much as Man City agreed to the rules, like everyone does, to affiliate with a footballing governing body, you must all sanction the rules. There must be a democratic process that is conducted. A bit like VAR. When Wolves tried to get VAR banned, not enough clubs got behind them. Most clubs said, no, we want to keep it. The democratic process happened in accordance with the rules. The same will apply with the rules of football that will govern world football, European football, Premier League football. The members, which are the clubs, they must approve the rules. The majority must approve, right? And Man City have. But what if those rules aren't lawful? Now you're saying what has more clout? The law of the Premier League or the law of the land? Well, the law of the land will always prevail. And I think that's what Man City are now arguing. They might actually have a point, Matt. They might actually have a solid point. But I want to know what laws are unlawful that they've signed up to. Because surely the Premier League does its due diligence, because they'll have their legal team and their ethics committee that will look at the rules and say, right, before we present rules to clubs to sign up to, are these rules, can we legally enforce them? That I'm sure that in fact, I know that happens. I know that happens. So this will be very interesting to see what they're actually suing. What are you specifically suing the league for? What is unlawful about the financial rules?
What is worrying is these are monster legal people. You know, these are the Man City have recruited and hired QCs. You know, the top arbitrators,
creme de la creme,
the top arbitrators, and obviously the Premier League will have their equivalent. So these people are obviously looking at the rule book and the leagues and the technicalities and still pursuing it. So it's like, you know, who's wrong and who's right? Are they both wrong or are they both right? Because these are the biggest, the baddest legal people in the world, and they're both pointing a finger. That's what's worrying me, because it's like, surely someone would say, guys, this ain't got a leg to stand on. But they're both arguing their point.
Can I just say to Mateo, the Premier League can decide any rules they want? No, they can't. No, they can't. If they said people from Australia are banned from the league, they can't do that because that's racism. You can't just do what you want. That's not how it works. Everyone can sign up and agree. Yeah, we agree to that. Yeah, they can do that, and they'll be seen as racists as well. But that doesn't mean it's lawful. But the point is, when rules are made, there are legal teams and ethics committees within the governance of football that will look at those rules before presenting them to clubs. Say, yeah, these rules, we've approved them. They've got to meet legal criteria, ethical criteria. That's what I'm saying. I'm really interested to know specifically what is it Man City is suing the league on. Have they found something that is actually discriminatory? Have they actually found something that is not in accordance with the law of the land. Because if they have, they can win. And for them to sue means they think they do have a case. That's what I'm saying to you, Matt. But as it stands now, the Premier League are innocent because the Premier League now have to be proven guilty. The same way I said Man City are innocent until they're proven guilty as well. It works both ways.
So are Man City retaliating? Are they retaliating to the 115 charges?
100%.
And
100%.
So they're like, let's push back. Yeah, let's push back. What can we do now to put the cat amongst the pigeons? I know, unprecedented. We'll sue the Premier League. Shockwaves.
Yeah, and the thing is, Matt, just because Man City is suing, and we know why they're doing it to set the cat amongst the pigeons. Exactly what you said. They're doing this deliberately because they've been charged by the Premier League, 115 charges. That's why they're doing it. But what if they've got a legal ground to do it? And they've only now chosen to play that card because they've been forced into a corner. So
What I'm saying.
We're going to force you into a corner,
What I'm saying, though, is the pinstripe suits, the big wigs, all the top notches at Man City would sit in a room and go, have we got a leg to stand on? Before you press this button, have we got a leg to stand on? So the richest of the richest, the biggest of the biggest would have said, yes, we've looked at this. Let's fire the first shot. We're going to sue the Premier League. That's the thing that I'm now getting confused about, or just thinking, because surely if it was an own goal, somebody high up in Man City that said, I get the intent, but we ain't got a leg to stand on here. Do not proceed. Somebody or a group of people have sat in a room and said, proceed, press that button, sue. That's what's now got me thinking, where does this go next? And then you got Nottingham Forest, you got Everton. They must be sitting there thinking, have we missed a trick?
Matt, apparently, a number of clubs, including Spurs, have submitted evidence to support the Premier League. But other clubs like Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea they're backing City. So it's like, well, hold on. Now you're creating a division amongst clubs.
Yeah.
And this is why I said to you, this is why Ash raised the question of this could split the league. You could then have Man City saying, right, Chelsea, Newcastle, Everton, let's pull away. Let's see if the others join us if they want to carry on with that show. And now you've got a European Super League breakaway mini version. Listen, what I'm saying is pretty out there. And hold on a minute, let's not get carried away. But Matt, a club suing the league that they're in, why can't the next phase happen of them pulling away? We can't take anything off the table now. The gloves are off. The gloves are off.
Yeah, look. I think it's as I said earlier, nobody is going to come out of this smelling the roses.
Yes, they will. There's always one winner. There's always one winner. The lawyers are going to make a killing.
Oh, of course. Yes, sorry.
If you are one of the QCs, it's payday.
Yes, yeah. But listen, they've already got enough zeros. But what I'm saying is, this will leave a very big stain on the Premier League.
Some crypto.
Very big stain on the Premier League. I think it's also going to have long-lasting, again, innocent until proven guilty. But I think there will always be this question mark, this asterisk against Man City now, because if they go down with the ship and they're found guilty, it will be, well, all those trophies that you won for the last 15 years are tarnished. If they win the case, it will be the neutral. I think they've only won this because they've got a state, they've hired the biggest, baddest QCs in the world to win this case. So, yeah, it's what I don't like about football. The fact that this is now becoming such a system, such an entity. I don't like it.
Matt, investment bankers have hijacked football. That's what's happened. Like you said earlier on in the show, all we do is talk about money. We're the only club. This is all about money. These arguments. These are all financial irregularities. These charges. Investment bankers have stolen, well, not stolen, they've hijacked the game. Spurs and others. And that's why even us as fans are divided over our own ownership of Daniel Levy. It's, are you a football fan or are you an investment banker? And if you're in the middle, do you even know what you are? And that's just how it is now. This is why, for me, I actually think we need an independent body to take over football that installs the kinds of rules where we have salary caps, where we have a cap on how much a club should be allowed to spend, and they should make it more balanced so the little clubs don't always lose out, and just make it more of a level playing field. But at the same time, if that breaks the law of the land, then we're going to get back to where we are now with Man City suing everyone and anyone.
Look, independent regulator, PSR, you can only buy what you earn. All these stipulations are coming in to help Daniel Levy. That's what that's for. Because if it's open season, it puts more pressure on Daniel Levy. If they put all these restrictions in, he can justify why he's only spending X amount because we haven't got Champions League football, and he can justify X, Y, and Z. So that's why he's against Man City, because it puts him back in the box seat. But yeah, just in a nutshell, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for the Premier League. It's not a good look for one of the, now you'd call them one of the biggest clubs in world football, Man City. It's basically, my dad's bigger than your dad. That's basically what this looks like it's going to boil down to. Who's got the biggest dad?
Pretty much. He's prepared to go the whole hog as well. Guys, smash a like. Thanks for watching the show. We're going to do the question part of the show now. I'll begin with a super chat from Marlon as promised. The real reason Ange changed the system versus City is because he was twerking for the City job. He's liked at the Etihad and didn't want to be embarrassed. I personally disagree. Matt, what do you think? Thanks for the super chat, Marlon.
Marlon, I'd have to say that's a reach. That's a reach to think that he thinks by putting on a tactical masterclass in that one game, he's going to shine like a beacon to the Man City owners. I don't think that's one on his radar, and I don't think it's on Man City's radar. No, I'd have to say I firmly disagree. I just wish he'd had a little bit more of that tactical nous in games against Arsenal, in games against Newcastle away, in games against Chelsea. I wish he had that level of detail in those games as opposed to Man City at home.
Marlon, thank you for the super chat. I've got a question on YouTube from Joshua Pereira. What do you think is more important for the system? A physical striker, like the ones we've been linked to, or a creative winger who can dribble past the opposition and create a chance? I was thinking about this the other day, but Ange and Furuhashi, a striker at Celtic, who's not as physically imposing compared to some. So it made me think whether we create good enough chances for the striker. I remember many games where some didn't get much service to speak of. This may be a difference in the physicality of the leagues. However, Matt, if you had to pick between a striker and a creative wide player,
a physical, dominant number 9. Tottenham need a focal point. We have a lot of possession, but we don't have no teeth up front. And what I mean by teeth up front, we don't have that centre forward that's going to dictate, get that ball into me early and play off me. So we don't have that ability in the game to change how we play. It's all got to be into feet, back out, into feet, back out. Sometimes, especially as the season progresses, you've got to be able to go from back to front with quality early, get teams pinned back, then you can play in that final third. But sometimes our predictability is our Achilles heel, where it's 15, 20 passes in our own half. Sometimes turn the opposition, get it up to a powerful centre forward, get him involved in the game early, pin the centre halves back, and we're playing the final third. So we absolutely are crying out for somebody that dominates, a linchpin up front.
I agree with you fully. I think we need both. But if I had to pick one, we haven't replaced Harry Kane. It's that simple. We haven't replaced our striker. And we desperately need someone that not only can score goals, but can hold up the play, feed in the attacking wide players that drive into the box, and also make something out of nothing. I don't really think we've got anyone like that. Sonny's more someone you've got to feed in one-on-one. You put your money, you put your house on it. But Kane was a different type of player. So I fully agree with Matt on this one. Let me know what you think in the chat. Question from Trending Spurs. Stel, from this position where the club is, what would you do exactly if you took control? Be realistic. Trending Spurs, thank you. Why would I lie? Why would I not be realistic? If I took over the club, I would purely focus on the football, meaning my academy, my first team would almost work as one. I would have the first team fully geared up to winning trophies. That would be the ultimate aim. That would be what I would be telling the fans. That's what I would be telling the staff. That would be the culture that I would build. We are here to win, and we are here to be the best. And when it comes to transfers, I would only buy players that for the here and the now that are oven ready. And if that means we only sign 2 or 3 players, fine. I would do it. And then I'd buy another 2 or 3 the following season. And I would tell this plan to the fans. I'd say, look, this is our plan. We've got a 4 or 5 year plan. And this is how we aim to approach it. And by this stage, we will have a certain quality of squad that we believe can compete for silverware. And I would explain the process to them. I wouldn't tell them these are the players we're going for. This is the exact player we want. Because then you play all your cards and you feed into the opposition who you want to buy the players from. And I would certainly look to bed in academy players into the first team and give them a crack at it and see which ones survive over a 2-3 year period and say, right, you and you cut it. You're staying. You guys, we gave it a go. You need to go to another club. That's how it works. But I would share this with the fans, and I wouldn't do this. We're going to sign 8 players, 2 of them land, 3 kind of there or thereabouts not, and the rest end up being on the scrap heap. I believe my way of doing it avoids us building up deadwood. You're going to always get 1 or 2 that don't work, but we build way too much deadwood up at this club. That has to stop. And whatever manager I employ would be of the same philosophy as the previous managers that links to the academy. Otherwise, all the work you do in the academy goes to waste. So it'd be a proper footballing plan with longevity attached to it and a continuity after it. And you need to communicate with the fans on this. So that's how you get the buy-in. And all the staff at the club, this is why we turn up to work. This is where we want to take the club. And that's how I would do it. Maybe the club are doing that. We don't know. They don't tell us. But when I see players like Timo Werner come, I'm struggling. So I hope that answers your question. Matt, you can take the next one. It's from FCB Elite. If Ange gets sacked, what manager can we even hire? Because no manager of a certain level will even want to touch the job. But also, which direction can we even head in? Because win now managers and project managers all seem to fail. Do you know, this question comes up every week. It's almost like it's such a difficult one to answer because God knows. We're still in Project Ange.
Yeah, I think it's for me. I wouldn't want to think too much about who would replace Ange because he's just got here, and I think he's trying to change how we play, how we set up. He's got a definitive style of play, which is sometimes he's undoing, inverted fullbacks, playing a high line, home and away. But I would like to think if he gets a few more additions so that when the natural injuries and the natural burnout happens with the style that we play, the players that come in, the drop-off is not so great and it's not so noticeable. So if we do get another Chelsea situation where we lose 3 or 4 players in one match, the Wolves game, which is the game after, it's not so noticeable, the difference. But to try and answer your question better, a manager in that mould, a manager that's prepared to play that style of football and invest fully in it. We've had the win now. Actually, what Stowe was saying earlier, which is having players that are ready to play straight away. Well, Conte and Jose, that's them. They're not interested in next season or the season after. They sign players that can go into the team and make an impact there and then. That didn't work for Spurs. The problem with Jose and Conte is, I don't want to say problem, but what caused the problem at Spurs is because they're quite volatile, they wear their hearts on the sleeves. The moment the transfer window came and went and the personnel wasn't to their liking, it showed. It showed. And then the press conferences after, it showed. No doubt going back into training the following week, it showed. And then the morale drops. So if we are to replace Ange, have a manager that's a little bit less volatile and someone that's going to try and get through Daniel Levy.
I was going to say something, but then something just popped up on my screen, which I'll come to now. Actually, I'll jump to it now. Sorry, it caught me off guard. So, Rob Ayres, you've also asked a question, which I'm not going to cover, only because it's similar to the last question. So it covers the same grounds. Tottenham are apparently about to submit a £40 million bid for Ivan Toney. Spurs are preparing a package of personal terms for the forward, who scored 4 goals in 17 Premier League games after returning from suspension that prevented him from featuring in the first half of the season. In terms of the link, it's not a strong link, but I don't know.
I'd love him.
Listen, I'd have him because he's better than what we've got up front. We don't have a striker at the club for me. We don't have.
He's a centre forward still. We don't have a centre forward. We've got hybrids. Richarlison's a hybrid.
Can I ask you a question?
Number 9.
Can I ask you a question, Matt? If we're prepared to spend that on Toney, why don't we go and get Jimenez from Feyenoord?
Unproven in the Premier League.
He scored 25 goals 2 years in a row or thereabouts, back-to-back seasons.
Unproven
His
in the
first
Premier
touch
League.
is damn good, man. Creates chances, scores goals. In the air, he's solid.
Technically gifted style, but he's unproven in the Premier League.
So my issue with signing Toney is this. If we keep Richarlison like it looks like we're going to have, we're going to have this really old Timo Werner, 29. Ivan Toney, 28. Heung-min Son, 30. We need a bit of dynamic young in there. And I'm not going to accept Brennan Johnson. I'm not doing this. Go on, tell me.
Hang on, Stal. Hang on, but you have previously said that we keep going and buying young. We need some proven
not
experience.
kid, but like a 24, 25-year-old, a 26-year-old, someone that's got that spring in their step still.
I think Ivan Toney goes into that Tottenham team.
I'd still take Ivan Toney, by the way. I would. He's better than what we've got. I would take him.
He's got, for me, he's got that touch of arrogance. He's got that touch of arrogance about him that I don't think we've got players still. Let's be honest, that when it doesn't quite go their way, they hide. I could think of 3 players off the top of my head that when it's not going their way, they look away when the pass is there.
Thing is, second half of the season, Matt, he was awful. In fact, he's not been good since he's come back from that ban.
Yeah, but to be fair, still, maybe that might be he's had a lot of emotional situations to overcome. But I'm not measuring Ivan Toney from January to May. I'm measuring Ivan Toney over 3 years in the Premier League. That's what I'm measuring him on. And prior to the ban, he was up there. He was a menace.
He was. Last season, he was
a menace.
Yeah, he was.
A menace. Menace. Links up. This is what I'm trying to say. Even when he's not scoring, his links play. He backs into his centre half. He never gives them an easy moment. And he's your focal point. You need that. Home and away style, you need that. When it's not quite going to plan, you look up, I'll hit him. He'll get me out the shit. I'll hit him. Get your team up the pitch.
Matt, I'll take him. Matt, with what compared to what we've got now, I would take him. I would. It's better than what we've got.
He just looks like he's got that arrogance that will come to Tottenham and think, yeah, I'll have some of this.
Well, we will find out because at the moment it's just a story along with all the other stories. In fact, Matt, if I showed you, right, all the players we've been linked with or spoken about over the last blimey, what?
Can I ask you a question just before you do that?
Yeah.
It's silly season. I think yesterday I read that we're linked with Tammy Abrahams. What do you think?
No. Not good enough. These are the players we've been linked with. Santiago, Gallagher, Edison, Cuba, Rafinha, Olmo, Neto, Tony, Marmouche, Eze, Somerville, Berger, Gibbs, White, Goodmanson, Calafiori, Guillermo, El Carnus, CHO, Evan Alson, Due, Sadakov, Kulmand, Solanke, Van der Berg, Walker Peters, Marcus Edwards, Anana, Weifer, Simakan, Suzuki, Williams, Braithwaite. Recently, Muniz, Bellingham, Joe Bellingham, not Jude, O'Reilly, Shirky, and plus the one you've just mentioned. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. And the only one we've signed is Timo Werner. So
it's silly season.
There you go. It is silly season. Guys, we're going to wrap it up. We've had over 300 of you watching today. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Matt, as always, partner in crime on a Friday. Thank you for joining. I'll let you have the last word today on what you'd like to leave us with before we break up for the weekend.
Listen, just everybody, thank you for your contribution in the stream. Keep supporting, and guys, women, everybody, just be kind to each other. You know, we all have a point of view on football, the world, or whatever. Just be kind. Just be kind to each other. You know what I mean? Let's not get involved in personal words or whatever else. You know, just enjoy it. It's silly season. We're going to be linked to every man and his dog. We won't know till September the 1st who's in Tottenham and who's out of Tottenham. There'll be some signings that probably none of us have ever mentioned that will come through the door at Tottenham. So let's just all try and enjoy it. We're all supporting, whether you support Tottenham or Arsenal or whatever. Everybody stay healthy. Thanks for your contribution. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe. Stel works tirelessly on this. So, you know the rules. Do the right thing. And I'll see you all next week.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Big up to Matt. Big up to all of you. We'll see you next week. Tottenham Away will be back on Monday night for our weekly podcast show. Check that one out. And until then, have a great weekend, people. Bye-bye.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.